Welcome into the latest episode of Floor is Yours. If you're listening to this on our podcast feed, this is probably the second half of the podcast. And also, you may be listening on Dash Radio on the Nothing But Net channel. This portion of the entire Five on the Floor experience today is brought to you by Biscayne Bay Brewing. Go to the website at Biscayne Bay Brewing, and you'll find where you can get their beer all over South Florida. It's the official beer of Five Reasons Sports. Enter Miami. And, of course, the Miami Marlins. So get the IPA, the Marlins Lager. Check all that out. I'm actually going to pick up some more of the beer tomorrow. Just letting a couple of the guys know here that they may want to meet me at some point in the next few days because I'm going to get some more beer. So check out Biscayne Bay Brewing. Again, this is the only independent brewery in South Florida. And we're going to start doing some watch parties with Biscayne Bay as soon as we're actually allowed to attend a place and watch games. For now, today on Five on the Floors, Floor is Yours. We've got the entire crew. We've got Greg Sylvander above me in the Giannis Bam shirt. I'm wearing a Bubble Dribble. We've got Alex Toledo. What is Alex wearing? You wearing one of ours or no? No, he's not.
Just wearing a shirt with the guy that gifted the Heat.
He's
the guy who gifted the Heat another conference final.
Yes,
appearance.
That's right. We'll talk about that. And then beneath him is Alphonse Sidney, who is desperately trying. He's wearing the Five on the Floor shirt, but also desperately trying to find where the UM game is. Does anybody actually have ACC Network? Does that exist?
I have it right here. ACC in South Carolina, it's prevalent to have all college football at all times. So they find a way to get that on TV up here.
I was gonna say it's like a mystery.
Sorry, I muted myself. Can you point your camera at the TV instead?
We may get ad suitability issues, Alf.
Oh,
that's true. That's true.
I'm no stranger to those.
Again?
No, that's true. The big question this week, I was going to start here, is who is Alf going to make retire in the next series? But we'll get to that in a second. I want to get to the Heat news, and I also want to get to any comments that come in here on the screen. So this is basically your show. We're going to be here for about 20 minutes on the YouTube side. So make sure you get in your questions and your comments now. I believe the Heat are going to start Tuesday. That is what we're hearing. I know Barry and Tim reported that. Appears that's the direction they're going. They want to give the West some time to catch up. They want to give Daniel House some time to get whoever he has in the bubble out of the bubble. And then the Heat are likely going to begin on Tuesday, which means another week break before they play again. We'll get to the opponents in a second. How do you feel about that? How do you feel that the Heat came out of the last week break, Alf?
They came out strong, right? They beat the Bucks game one. It doesn't seem like a lot of stuff deters this team. I think the biggest thing, the curveball that's been thrown at them so far is actually the best player on the other team getting injured. And that's the one thing that kind of took them off their game. They're like, what? The challenge isn't what we thought it was going to be? Like, that's the only thing that messed them up. They just seem focused as hell, which is, it's an Eric Spoelstra team. These guys are Miami Heat up and down. We say culture all the time. I was listening to Zach Lowe podcast today. They said culture about 3,000 times. And it's not just us anymore, right? It's not a Miami thing. I think it's like a league-wide thing. And you see, I think it starts with Jimmy. People look at Jay Crowder. They look at the whole team, the up and down the roster, and just see a bunch of tough-minded guys. Like Kendrick Perkins says, them goons from Dade County. And I don't think they're going to be deterred by a week off. I think they're going to come out strong.
Don't remind me about the Dem Goons thing because I think it's going to end up being the most popular Adam Smoot shirt he's ever done, and he did it for the Hockman and Crowder show. So I'm throwing this at you, Smoot. I don't know if I'm going to bring you the Dragic shirt that you designed. Alex, who does it benefit the most on the Heat?
Oh, that's easy.
And who does it benefit the least?
Goran the most, and maybe like Tyler Hero the least, just because of the momentum that he had going. I'm sure he just wants to keep playing. He's like, I want to play every night when I'm going this.
Yeah, that's the obvious one, but Hero had a hip thing going on. Like, I truthfully feel that this break is perfect for them. Like, this is the other part of it. They're inevitably going to shrink the rotation, and the best players are going to be playing heavier minutes than ever. So at that point, getting any front end rest to me is a good thing. There's no negative to it for anybody, even the young guns.
This comment comes in from Brian Mosley. Iggy on JJ. Yeah, the Heat are all over these podcasts. We need to get one of them on ours. Iggy on JJ Redick's podcast last week said that KZ Okpala was the Miami Heat version of Giannis. He didn't have to mention him, even be gracious. Is he healthy? What's he working on? We had KZ on the pod about 2 months ago. I don't think he's ever been completely healthy in the bubble, but I also think that this kind of gave them an excuse not to rush him. And as we see that, look, DJJ's not even getting minutes, right? Solomon Hill's not getting minutes. So there was no reason to rush KZ Okpala into the fray right now unless they had a serious injury. So everything I've heard is positive on him, but it's just not time yet.
No, go ahead, Leif. Go ahead.
When they mentioned him in the context of that, now obviously they spoke glowingly of KZ, but that was also that they were kind of referencing him as the guy who was playing Giannis in practice, like emulating what it would be like to face him. So it wasn't as much saying like he's the next Giannis, although they spoke glowingly.
Well, it's kind of like what we talked about with Earl Barron in the 2006 finals, and they called him Dark Nowitzki. Because he was impersonating Dirk Nowitzki. So I think it's similar to that.
Am I the only one who thought that was a Trilly fake? I thought that was a Chef Trilly fake.
At this point, it could be.
Yeah, when they were people had to literally say, "No, I'm listening to the podcast right now." I thought that Dre saying all that stuff about KZ Okpala was completely a fake. I'm like, Trilly is just so good at this. And I'm like looking to see if the thing is moving at the bottom of the screen. I'm like, he's not going to get me again. No way.
Oh, you thought it was a deep fake?
Yeah. Now like with the Duncan, towel boy thing. I'm not falling for that crap.
Well, yeah, Andre fell for it.
Did you guys see how Andre pronounced KZ's last name? KZ Acapella.
Acapella.
He still doesn't know his last name. That's pretty good.
Right up there with Bam out of the Bayou.
By the way, another thing, on this topic is that I like how we're all. And by the way, I'm in on this too. I'm guilty of this too. All hyping up the that anecdote where KZ is Giannis, but there was a similar one that came out today with the Rockets, but it was with the 5'9" guard Chris Clemens serving as LeBron.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Rockets have other issues beyond that. I want to get to the next part of this. There's always time to slander Paul Pierce.
And it's not Soma Fertitta related this time, for once.
No, for once. There's always time to slander Paul Pierce. Today on The Jump, he said that the Heat had basically said the Heat had not faced any adversity, or they hadn't been tested. That was what he said. He said that the Heat had not been tested. Look, I'm looking at their record this year, and I did post this up. I have to find it now, what I posted up today. But I'm looking at their record against the top 6 in the East, okay? After going 8-1 against the Pacers and the Bucks. Let me find it. It gave me a chance to find the wheelchair gif for Pierce. Here we go. They are 19-7 against the other top 6 teams in the East. 2 of those losses, one of them was against Indiana in a game they seemed like they were trying to lose. Right before the playoffs. They didn't care about it. The other one, they were up at the half against the Bucks, big, and without Butler and Dragic, they faded. What does that mean from Paul Pierce, that they haven't been tested? Tested by what? They just played the number 1 seed in the league.
That's it. Like, a 5 seed just beat a 1 seed. That's the damn test. Like, it just makes no sense. They're 8-1 in the playoffs. Like, did the Big 3 go 8-1 to the conference finals?
They did.
1 year. One year they did.
Because I know the 05 team.
The 05
team
they went 8-0 without Shaq.
Yeah.
Remember? No,
exactly.
It was without Shaq? Yes, it was without the year that they beat Washington. I'll look it up. But the
Nets. Wasn't it the Nets? Yeah.
Yeah, they went 8-0 because the question was again when he was coming back.
So it's not something they do like often. So that's the test. Paul Pierce.
The only thing I can think of is when we talk about a group of players having to fail in the playoffs multiple times before they can push through. You know how the Bulls with the Pistons. We have examples of it over and over and over again through time. But where is the test in the East going to come from, and who else has been tested in the East? Because this Celtics team. Yeah, they've made some runs, and Tatum and Jaylen Brown have looked good at times in the playoffs. And Tatum looks great, but this is not the same group that's quote unquote been tested over and over. They haven't been knocking, they were knocking against the LeBron door, but LeBron's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So what tests have they faced this postseason? And then you look on the other side of the map, that whole Western Conference is like a completely new it's a completely new conference this year. You know, Denver has been knocking their heads against the wall, so have the Rockets, but they both look like they have no chance, so who cares, right? So
the fact that all three of these teams, that the three teams that we went into this postseason, features multiple superstars that have not won on the biggest stages,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And not to say, I'm not trying to just put it all on them, but that it's just a fact, right? Like these are, to your point, these aren't proven teams. Paul George is battle tested, all right, but it's very up and down. Anthony Davis, short playoff career, had that they advanced one time, and the same could be said about Giannis. He's advanced over the past couple of seasons, and I mean this season, my God, what a huge disappointment. And same thing happened last season. I think it's there's no guarantee here.
And the Heat are led by a lot of guys who have been battle tested in the playoffs. Who've listen, a lot of these guys. I mean, Jimmy's in his first conference finals. Not many people have been tested more than him. Jay Crowder, Andre Iguodala. I mean, how many tests does this guy have to pass? Goran Dragic has been beating his head against the second round for years, right? So there's guys on this team that can tell the young guys, listen. And that's one of the cool things that I heard from Duncan Robinson on the Zach Lowe podcast, where Spo was like, guys, enjoy this. This doesn't happen for guys in their first, second year a lot. Go enjoy this tonight, and it's back to work tomorrow. They have enough guys with the right head on their shoulders that they're not going to be spooked by this moment. I don't think so, at least.
I want to get to the next topic here as we're moving through these somewhat quickly, and we appreciate your comments. There was a tweet from Justice Winslow yesterday, which I thought was classy, where he congratulated his guys for getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. And, of course, Josh Richardson chimed in, and, of course, Bam with the boys and all that kind of stuff. Let me ask you this. In his heart of hearts, put yourself in Justice's place right now. Does he regret it? Does he regret? Because he kind of forced his way out. He didn't ask for a trade, but he put the organization in that position. Does he regret it?
I don't know. That's a tough question because, listen, we've all had jobs and been in places where we weren't happy, and no amount of success can change that, right? I don't know if the issues that he had in Miami with the front office, I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know about any of that stuff. Was it that bad that he would rather be out of here than be in the conference finals? Because if whatever was happening to him in Miami that he didn't like wasn't going to stop happening in the playoffs, and probably whatever was going on was going to get ratcheted up to another level. And if it's something that he didn't want to be around, it was just going to get worse. So I don't know, man. I think these guys. I think he's happy. I think he seems like he's in a good place. I mean, the one who's probably pissed off is Josh Richardson of anybody. Like, out of the two of those guys, I see Josh way more upset than I see Justice.
And part of this is that they know those guys; they're close friends with those guys, so they're going to be vocal in supporting them. I don't know that he necessarily regrets it because I think inevitably this is what happened. They got to a point where when you looked at 2021, Justice was going to be up against a team option, and if they were going to maximize flexibility that summer, Justice probably wasn't part of the plans. I mean, I know that that's not what everyone wanted to hear, but just the way that it started to map out, it looked like that was not going to be viable. So at that point, you knew that there was going to be a separation at some point. So I don't know that he regrets it because although he may have forced his way out in some of the things in the way he approached coming back and stuff like that, I don't know that he really wanted out per se. It wasn't like ugly, something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's I know what Ethan's saying. He kind of forced himself out. And listen, Ethan knows about this stuff way more than we do. I'm Leif. You're second in knowledge. I like how Manny put up
I know, right?
Empty screen. Hi, window and shelf. I like how he positions himself in front of a bookshelf like he's Adam Schefter. Calm down, Ethan. How many of those books have you actually read? Anyway,
you went to Johns Hopkins, Alf.
They look like a lot of dictionaries.
Yeah, I see a lot of something for dummies. Is that podcasting for dummies back there? Unmuting your mic for dummies. How about?
Has you read that book yet?
I haven't read the Unmuting my Mic for Dummies.
untangling my headphone cord.
I just
said that you're Adam Schefter
Yeah,
for having the bookshelf behind you.
Yeah, no. Well, usually I go on the other side, but as this place isn't that big, I'm trying to give the appearance that it is, but it's not. Usually, I'm on the other side. The further I can get away from my daughter when she's trying to go to sleep, the better.
I got roasted for my blank prison type walls behind me in my bedroom. Like someone was like, Kylie, get Alpha a picture or something.
You in a straitjacket?
The walls are padded in here, man. Especially after a heat loss.
Great for audio.
It is. It really is. It really is.
Let's get to a couple other things here before we got to go on this one. How do we feel? Have we talked about this? How do we feel about Kendrick Perkins loving the Heat now? Where are we with that?
It's just loud noises.
Wow. I mean, the guy took the Heat over the Celtics. Talked about that if that scenario were to come up, that he would still take the Heat over the team that he won a championship with. So if he's willing to put it on the line like that, especially considering how his former teammates who he won with feel about the Heat and how babies they are, then I'm with him, man. I think the bit works. I think it's funny. It always brings a smile to my face. And man, the Dem Goons thing is just a great slogan. It works, man. It works. This team just really symbolizes that.
He has too many bad takes. I can't ride with him. Sorry.
Listen.
Can't do it.
He's a clown and it's funny. And I honestly, the thing I like about Perk, I think he gets it. Like,
yes,
I think he gets that he's not like, listen, he's not out here breaking down X's and O's.
He's doing a bit.
Yeah, he's doing a bit. And there have been a couple of times where he's talked about who missed a defensive assignment. And one thing you can say about Perk, he could quarterback a decent defense in the NBA. So he does have some good analysis, but he has realized what it takes to be a talking head on ESPN. Find a bit and stick to it. Like he doesn't take himself seriously like Paul Pierce does and constantly be wrong. I think he's more on the Charles Barkley side of things. And honestly, for him to get the vernacular of them goons from Dade County, like I appreciate that. Like
that's true.
That's Dade County.
I've come around. I've come around. You sold me.
You're a Perk guy now. What do we think of? Let's go into some of the analysts because I know Heat fans have very definite opinions about them. So give me a rating from 1 to 10. 10 being the best. Draymond Green's debut with TNT. What did you think?
Me, I thought
probably
I would go
8.5, 9. I thought
he
was good.
Yeah, I was thinking on the same lines.
I think he's almost too good. He's showing up the rest of them. Because
you do a show to Nikias.
Like dumb it down, Draymond.
It's like when I'm on with Nikias. It just like shut up with your dribble handoffs. What about culture and guts?
All right, Reggie Miller, 1 through 10.
Negative 84,000.
Thank you. Yeah.
I actually feel like guys, like he makes decent points, but it's the presentation I just can't deal with.
He talks too much.
Yeah. He talks.
And you know who the I know you. I don't know if you're gonna get the Chris Webber because that guy, he can tell a story that lasts 3 quarters.
Yes, he got.
And I mean, he misses so many plays,
like four possessions, and he's just talking.
And he's too cool. He's too cool. It's like, hey, yeah, when you're down on that block as a big man, it's like 3 plays later now. Someone's shooting a 3-point. As a big man in this league, man, when I was
play-by-play guy is fuming.
He's like screaming bang, and he's like, anyway, but yeah, like, but I do appreciate that he loves the game. Like I do like that about Chris Webber. So I'll give him like a 3 or a 4 because he genuinely seems to enjoy today's game. So I'll give him that much. But man, he talks so slow. It drives me nuts.
We're gonna say it for Webber, and I hate on Reggie Miller as much as anybody. We can say it for Reggie because Reggie constantly gets excited. I hate his voice. I think he just kind of comes off goofy and it isn't the greatest, but he definitely loves the game. He's constantly getting excited about the shooting.
Well, the two that like the game the least, I feel like, are Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson.
Oh my God, thank
you. It is a good impression. But they ruined the game for me. It's hard. It's hard to enjoy.
I actually thought Mark Jackson was a little. I can't stand him, but I thought he was a little better the other day with no Jeff Van Gundy. Like at least Mike Breen can focus him in some way. But you put the two of them there, like you talk about forgetting that the game is going on. It'll be 2 quarters later. They're still complaining about something related to the league.
It's the two old Muppets in the theater.
Yeah,
Yep.
He's like, when I was hanging on Alonso's leg, and then you were in Indiana.
He's every time. I hate these challenges. Why are these guys doing this? Look at all this 3-point shooting. Yo, come on. It's today's. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Like, let me enjoy the game. Like, come on.
You know, my God, they miss posting up from the 3-point line so much.
Oh my God. It's like
Mike Jackson yearns for those days.
Dump the ball into Patrick. Yeah, no, it's crazy. But you know the other one, it's not easy though, because I thought Shane Battier, for instance, would be great at it, and he wasn't. He was almost too smart for the role, and that's why like I wonder if Chris Bosh would be good at it, because it's Chris can tell a story. He's a lot smarter than a lot of these other guys. But again, some of this is acquired taste. Like
that commenter may have stumbled onto a great idea.
Alf and Nikias.
Yeah, for the podcast audience, he said, "Give me drunk Nikias and Alf commentating." I mean, I'm sorry, drunk Alf and Nikias commentating.
Yeah, that's
very important. That makes more sense.
Somebody said we need Jonathan, our guy Jonathan, who covers MMA for us. Need Kevin Harlan and Mike Breen there alone. They might be better off just by themselves. But this one came in, and we got to address this because Stan Van Gundy is a friend of the program. He's also stealing all my tweets. But there are some who don't like. I like him as an analyst, but I'm biased.
The best. He's the best.
I'm biased, but there are some who believe he talks too much.
Well, they listen too much.
He does talk. I will say there are times I'm like, okay, Stan, all right. But at the same time, it's like at least what he's giving you, like he's giving you something. He's talking about the game. Joel Anthony as an announcer.
You know what? That's a good way to close. Who would be the worst announcer? Who would be the worst announcer in Miami Heat history? Who's the one?
Hassan Whiteside.
Okay, you win. You win. It's over.
Dion to be the best.
It's over. All right. If
the boy's shooting. Look at him.
Did I ever tell you that my favorite picture of Hassan? I have to put it up. He wore a cat in the hat.
Did Hassan Whiteside hack the stream?
He just dialed in. He had my number at one point. He wore a cat in the hat at Heat Family Fest once, and like the thing stretched up to like 10 feet in the air, and it was the most perfect picture I've ever taken. Because if anybody looked like he should be wearing a cat in the hat, Dr. Seuss hat, it was Hassan Whiteside. By the way, all the Hassan Whiteside stands. Where are they? All the people on Twitter who said Spo was holding Hassan back.
I mean, if there's ever been a time to be petty, man, it's
every once in a while, like somebody will get a layup at the rim. Oh, I can't see if we had Hassan Whiteside still, and then we wouldn't have Jimmy Butler, idiots.
Right. Exactly.
You're getting into the conference finals with a team led by Hassan Whiteside.
By the way, can we?
That's great. We got to say, LOL, you guys make Chris Webber sound like Kevin Hart's character in Jumanji.
He does. Well, I'll be damned. That was a 3-pointer.
All right, we got to close this thing because if you're listening on the podcast side, you've already heard it. But we have an interview scheduled tonight with Keon Dooling, former Heat guard, Broward County basketball legend, actually, who's now doing public speaking, still tight with UD. And actually, a little bit of a trivia situation. The last time the Heat played the Celtics in the playoffs, Keon played in that game. That was in 2012, I guess it would have been, in the postseason. Keon was one of the rotation guards for the Celtics. We're going to talk to Keon there, so make sure you check that out on the podcast feed. That'll make its way back to YouTube. I know this is confusing. Thanks for joining us. We'll have more videos during the week. Obviously, we're going to do pregame and postgame. And again, Biscayne Bay Brewing, they are the sponsor of the streams. They're official craft beer of Inter Miami, the Miami Marlins, and us. Check them out. And if you drink a Biscayne Bay Brew, tag us on Twitter. We'll get you out there to everybody else. Thanks for joining.
Check out the new podcast intro.
Yep.